Hello there, my Aquarius collective. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Aquarius, some of you planted that seed, but it didn't quite grow, did it? Oi. The Ace of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, there with the Three of Cups. No, it didn't. Because there's that Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Aquarius, you kind of pull a toxic couple vibe or a toxic relationship energy. That's why I feel like those of you who are happily single or you avoided the temptation of a situation, expect things to start turning around for you. That toxic partnership keeps wanting to show up, but I feel like those of you that avoided it, you're going to be thankful that you did. But some of you, those relationships or partnerships are definitely not going to pay out the way you thought they would. Especially if you were basing it on like speculation. Now, honestly, with this Page of Pentacles, with the Five of Pentacles, whoever or whatever you were hedging your bets on, it's not going to work. So I don't know if this is a work situation or maybe it's you're not going to get that promotion. Yeah, and there's the Magician in reverse. Whatever manipulation was in play here doesn't quite work. Or the Eight of Swords in reverse there with the Tower vibe. Yeah, you avoided the temptation. The Tower energy is given more that Aries, Leo, Sagittarius vibe. All right, there's the Empress energy. Oh, look at that. Honestly, with that Ace of Wands, Page of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, with the Three of Cups, those of you, if you avoided like a MLM type of a vibe, this could definitely be given that multi-level marketing, or you didn't buy into the same bullshit that everybody else was buying into. Because something definitely isn't going to pay off. And it's kind of given like a dividends vibe, which is interesting. But I feel like the energy with you is more maybe of a working relationship or partnership. Or those of you, if this is particularly what you do for work. Yeah, that's like the partnership vibe. So those of you that avoided, it kind of does, you avoided the temptation of a situation, whether that be a romantic relationship or partnership, or you avoided the salesperson's vibe. I with the Queen of Cups in reverse. There's the Two of Cups. Yeah, you didn't buy into the same bullshit that everybody else was. I really feel like you turned down an event or an occasion or some type of it's given like a marketing vibe. But you didn't kind of buy into the bullshit. Yeah, the Ace of Swords in reverse. There with the Leo vibe. This is when you were the standout, or you were the one that was like, everybody else was getting on board with something, and you were like, no thanks. No thanks. For some of you, maybe that was like a work opportunity. Maybe you were wanting to get into selling some shit or something like that. Because you are pulling a multi-level marketing type of a situation here, but you avoided the yeah, you avoided the messy vibe. I don't know, maybe you... Sweet Jesus. Seven of Pentacles, you invested in yourself. Things are slowly balancing out for you. There's the Four of Wands and there's the Chariot. There with that Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the King of Swords in reverse. There with the Eight of Pentacles. There with the Five of Wands. Those of you, when it comes to a work situation, don't be surprised if you don't find out that things are a hell of a lot messier than what you realized. You always pull the temp vibes. Something was meant to be a temporary solution or a temporary option to see how easily you could be distracted from what was really important with you. I felt like you were on more of an emotional sort of personal journey, because you definitely had a lot of options or a lot of opportunities presented to you. But taking the right ones and avoiding the messy options and messy opportunities. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, I feel like we're trying to dominate um, your vibe. Maybe it was do watch your favorite astrologer, pay attention to the astrology of your situation. But those of you that avoided all the messy vibes, the sun in reverse, yeah, it's no bad news for you. But I wouldn't be surprised in a work situation if whatever the hell this is doesn't quite work out. Look at that. The Nine of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Page of Wands in reverse, the King of Cups in reverse, and there's that Ten of Cups. Look, with the Lovers in reverse, those of you that thought that relationship or partnership was going to work out, and then you realized if they chose another partner over you, that, you know, the bloom is off the rose in that situation. But there's happiness for you. There's happiness here for you. Really good work vibe, maybe not so much with the interpersonals, but I feel like you avoided the player vibes. The player energy or the salesperson. Yeah, you ain't having the headaches that everybody else is. The Nine of Wands there in reverse with the Four of Wands there in the reverse. With the Virgo in reverse. Look, you weren't tempted. I feel like you missed out on a sales pitch or a sales meeting, or maybe some of you didn't go to that conference, or you didn't buy into the same bullshit as everyone else. And that's what made the difference. I feel like it's good energy for my single Aquariuses. I don't feel, it's not like expect your luck to change. I think it's the options or the opportunities that you wanted are finally coming in, because you kind of figured out what would make you happy instead of believing that an option or an opportunity was going to make you happy. If you don't do a lot of emotional purchasing, or you're not trying to fill that void, that emotional void, by just taking on any option or any opportunity, that's what creates this new vibe with you. Those of you, if you did buy into that, the dividends aren't going to pay off the way you think it is. Something isn't going to work out, but you would have had to buy into it before. So those of you that avoided that, this could simply be you didn't buy into what everybody else was buying into. Maybe that, I feel like it's kind of what you do for work. You're pulling a weird marketing vibe on that. Marketing, or those of you that do finance. Or there's a marketing aspect to this. You avoided the temptation of the salesperson. This is more about an emotional journey of discovery with you. And what is it that's really important? What's really going to make you happy? And not just what creates that illusion and confusion of happiness. Damn, Aquarius. I absolutely love your energy, but you do keep pulling like a toxic partnership vibe. Maybe those of you that's newly single and you kind of did that journey of self-discovery, understanding your love language, understanding why those relationships or partnerships didn't work, and not allowing yourself to be tempted into some temporary vibes. Sagittarius is a blessing for some of you, but then the Sagittarius could also be a curse. Knight of Swords, there's the Capricorn in reverse, there's the yeah, you avoided the temptation. You simply avoided the temptation, and some of you avoided a shitty contract. Those of you doing temp work, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you were offered an opportunity that you thought was great, and maybe you were like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have turned that offer down. Maybe you're going to realize that that company isn't quite working out, or those that took that promotion kind of, I feel like they're going to go to the bottom, and you're going to get sort of moved to the top. So expect those blessings to come in for you, because you literally were patient, and you know what is perfect for you, what's going to be the perfect option or opportunity, and you're not easily impressed. So you probably got some negativity because you didn't buy into what everybody else was. Lord, if you're in marketing or some shit like that, I feel like you were the one that foreseen that wasn't going to work. Seven of Cups in reverse. There's the Five of Cups. There's the Queen of Pentacles. There's the Two of Pentacles in reverse. There's the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Ooh. Nine of Pentacles, Page of Cups in reverse. There to the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is the Sagittarius in reverse. Aye, the King and Queen of Pentacles. That could be that toxic partnership energy with you. Again, I don't know if that's a romantic vibe or it's kind of just an unhealthy group dynamic, or some of you a work situation. You pull a weird work vibe. But again, take what's yours and leave what's not on this. You do have a toxic partnership vibe. So do be mindful of any new options, any new opportunities, and take your time moving forward. What's really going to make you happy? And what just sort of creates that illusion of happiness, especially if you do a lot of emotional purchasing, trying to fill that void. Damn, look at you, Aquarius. I love your vibes. What's your favorite astrologer? Take what's yours and leave what's not. You were kind of the oddball anyway, when everybody else was buying into that option or that opportunity. Look, if you do like marketing or something like that, I feel like you were kind of ahead of the vibe. This also feels like you were looking at your options and looking at your opportunities. So you were creating options, creating opportunities for yourself. But you were turning down, I think, a lot of options or a lot of opportunities because you could foresee what wasn't going to work. Damn, look at you, Aquarius. Nine of Wands, the Five of Swords, the Nine of Wands, yeah. Feels like you were the only one in the group that didn't go to that meeting or didn't sign up for that, so you avoided the vibes. Some of you with the work situation, when everybody else was going into that new company or that new job, and I feel like you're moving up in the list. So everyone that kind of went somewhere else is going to be back where the hell they started. They're just going to be underneath you. So your perseverance paid off, especially when it comes time for promotion. Kind of feels like everybody else jumped ship on something, but you avoided that Six of Swords. Emotional purchasing or emotion-driven decision making. Some of you, I feel like you just didn't go to that party, or you didn't go to that convention, or you didn't sit through that sales representation vibe here. If you do marketing or finance, I feel like when everybody else was getting on board with something, you were like, that is the worst idea. Oi. Good luck, God bless, take what's yours and leave what's not, Aquarius. You are pulling a toxic partnership vibe. I feel like that's just mindfulness moving forward, but I feel like you kind of understand that. You are the odd one here. You are definitely the odd one. That's what is going to make this rather interesting for you. If this is a work situation, everybody else that went to that other company are going to be wanting to come back in, and I feel like you're going to get moved up on the list for the promotions, literally because some of these people's times are going to start back over again. So they're literally going to be underneath you when it comes to options or opportunities. And that's going to be what puts you in the forefront for promotions. All right, peace, love, and light, Aquarius.